everyone. It is Bridget from the Art of Ghost Publishing House, and I'm so pleased to be back again this week with Authors in the Spotlight on My Time Live TV through Amazon Live, and we're streaming through Facebook, LinkedIn, the Binge Network, and probably other places that I've forgotten this morning. Thank you so much for joining me, and we're talking again about the beautiful, intuitive Knowing Her Truth book. I want everybody to understand that intuition is available to all of us. We can all connect with our own intuition, and it is it's not something that's beyond any of us. Our book is available on Amazon. You can purchase your paperback or Kindle copy through the Amazon store. I would love for you to pop over onto Amazon Live TV and watch us over there. You can comment. I will see your comments come up once we go live on there. There's a slight delay. So if you are watching us through Facebook and you see the links come up to the Amazon Live television, we'd love for you to go over there. We want to create a community on Amazon Live as well. So it'd be great to see everybody pop over there as well. Today I'm talking to three of the beautiful authors from Amazon Live, from Intuitive. I just said from Amazon Live. We're talking to them on Amazon Live. We're talking to three of the authors from Intuitive Knowing Her Truth. Our first author that I would like to welcome to talk to me this morning is the beautiful Kristen Faults. Kristen's story in this book was one that was very vulnerable and something that I'm so pleased that she shared, and she's shining her light on sharing her skills and lessons with other women throughout the world. And welcome, Kristen. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so blessed to be here with you today.
I wanted to, first of all, share with the readers, share with the viewers and those who are able to read our book, just touch on what your story is about in Knowing Her Truth.
Okay, great. This storyline has evolved in real time, even up to now as the co-parent in working through situations where I don't have full control of it. And so the chapter was about giving myself permission to be okay with what had happened, where the direction was going, and I was just searching for signals and signs from just the universe, the divine, and it was about giving myself permission in moments of vulnerability and talking about how actually, my little one is here tonight with us, and she loves to be on camera. So please forgive her wanting to be on camera with us. But anyways, the chapter was very vulnerable, and it allowed me to grow as a coach, as a mama, as an intuitive. And in that process of really giving myself permission to be vulnerable, it allowed me to express myself in ways I had kind of shut down for a while because of survival, because of losing my voice and the ability to have freedom and choice. And it's just a beautiful chapter of healing and growth.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that people seem to forget, that they can reconnect to their intuition, isn't it? You have your voice taken away, whether it be from a particular person, society, what your religious beliefs are, the environmental factors that you encounter most recently, what's happening in the world with what's happening in the world. And, people almost give their voice away sometimes, and then they forget that they can take that back and trust their own intuition. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I think part of the thing is sometimes we don't know what our intuition is. Is it ancestral wounds? Is it childhood stuff that's blocking us from listening to our inner voice and trusting that our inner voice and our inner wisdom is guiding us into the unknown, and us blessing ourselves by trusting ourselves. And having intuition and have it being wounded because of second guessing yourself and feeling like you're moving towards a certain direction, and then what's in front of you says, no, that's not the direction. Like, how do you juggle what is truth, what is your truth, what is something that is altering your existence. And so intuition is something that you have to really trust and honor. And my chapter was she had the sniffles, so she couldn't go to her sitter tonight. So I graciously say thank you for allowing me to co-parent my 4-year-old going on 25 while doing this interview at the same time.
That's absolutely fine. You know, I love that too. You know, this is life. This is what happens in life. It doesn't mean that there's no wrong in what we're doing, you know. Hello.
Can you say hi? Hi. This is Emma.
Hey, Emma.
Birthday, I'm going to turn 5. Yeah, you are. Okay, it's mommy's interview, okay? You're right? Okay.
Kristen, can you tell us what work that you do in the world?
I'm an intuitive parent coach, and so I work with moms who are wanting to heal their own mom triggers, calm the chaos in their home, and learn how to intuitively meet the needs of their children and also meet the needs of themselves. And so that really allows me to speak into the heart and soul of women who have experienced potentially having their own intuition wounded or experienced domestic violence or childhood traumas. And it's really allowed me the platform to speak into women's lives intuitively and help them grow their own skill set and help them be able to connect to their divine wisdom and truth.
Oh, beautiful. I love it. It's so important that we look at parenting from a perspective of trust and, you know, connecting to your intuition and doing it from that space, as opposed to doing it from societal-led space makes parenting so much more joyful, doesn't it?
It does. Now, don't get me wrong. There's moments where I am not peaceful and I don't want to be calm, but I really try to come from a place of when I am at peace and at calm, I can then co-regulate when she is running amok or sensory overload or, you know, really needing my attention and focus. And by co-regulating with her and allowing my own mom triggers to be healed along the way of the journey has really helped our connection heart to heart. So I'm in the trenches with you guys. She's very spirited, very opinionated, and she's definitely an old soul. So we do a lot of connecting and reconnecting and sharing the power because, you know, I'm only in control as much as she allows me to be, honestly. And it's about that partnership of working back and forth with the spirit of a little one who's just like me. So it's fun. She teaches me something every day.
I want everybody to know that not only are you in Intuitive Knowing Her Truth, but you are also a TEDx speaker that you had the opportunity to actually be on the TED website for a period of time as well, didn't you?
Yes, I was. And actually today is my 3-year anniversary from taking the stage on.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So it was a beautiful process. I was in the middle of healing some wounds from a former marriage when I took the stage, and I thought, I don't know if anyone wants to hear what I have to say, but I have to speak my truth, and that is healing your inner child. And it was such a beautiful experience. It helped me be a better person, speaker, mom, and it really gave me a platform to help others give their inner child permission to heal.
Yeah, I love that. I can't see the chat or the comments over on Amazon Live, but we would love people to jump over there and liaise with us through Amazon Live. Our producer Dare Palmer will be able to see you, and she can converse with you over there. Thank you so much for joining us today, and talking about our book, Intuitive Knowing Her Truth. It is a beautiful publication, and Kristen's story is one that will move you in a way that you will be able to see that you can make a change in your life and still connect with your intuition and come from that intuitive space. Kristen, what's it like for somebody to work with you? I mean, do you work with both parents, or do you only work with one parent at a time, or how does that work?
Typically, I work more with mom because she is going to be typically more connected to the everyday dramas that are happening with the kiddos. And so I have done both. I do a form of couple coaching as well, as far as the parent coaching is concerned. A lot of my work is done also remotely through energetic release of traumas, dramas, trapped emotions, a lot of mindset work. So I do a combination of one-on-one coaching, but also do quite a bit of energy work on the behalf of healing the ancestral traumas, the inner child work, shadow work, things like that on an energetic level.
Oh, I love it. And I think that that's a great, opportunity for people to expand their, be open to, different avenues of work and different ways to look at parenting, because parenting is tough. Like, I mean, it's tough. I don't, I don't know that if I had known how hard it was going to be, that I would have signed up for it. You don't get all of this information before you sign on.
I totally agree.
All that information isn't given to you before you sign on to this job, that's for sure. All right, thank you so much, Kristen. Is there some? How will people get in touch with you?
They can join me at Healing Home Coaching on Facebook, or through Kristen Faults on Facebook. We also have a lovely online community of like-minded moms who are going through their own parenting journey using energy healing, peaceful parenting to connect with themselves further and their children. So we would love to have you. That's the Emotional Healing Collective.
Yeah, and Emma's done well. She's done well to be here today, and you've done fantastic.
Thank you. We also have a small YouTube channel. Emma calls it our WooTube channel, and our website, healinghomecoaching.com. So she does my channel with me sometimes. So she talks to her people. And so we definitely have to share the stage at times when it comes to filming time. So
what does that, what's that? Sorry, what did you call the YouTube channel?
She has a slight little lisp, so she calls it my WooTube channel. Welcome to my WooTube channel.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Is that also called the same name?
Yes, Healing Home Coaching is what I'm under in most of my social media work.
Okay, great. And you'll put the links into the Amazon Live and into the Facebook, and we'll be able to connect with you there. That is beautiful.
Absolutely.
I will check out your WooTube channel, and I'll never think of it the same way again. That is beautiful. So everybody can read Kristen's story in Intuitive, Knowing Her Truth, and I implore you to grab your copy, jump on over to Amazon and grab your copy. You can grab the paperback or the ebook and read Kristen's story, and you can connect with her through there. Her links are in the book as well. Thank you so much for your time, Kristen. It's been lovely to catch up with you, and I wish you well, and I look forward to seeing what happens in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You want to say bye?
Bye. Bye, Emma. Thank you. Bye. Thank you for being with me. I love how a mum can just wing it. They just go from, being on a live TV show to welcoming their child into it. I mean, she handled, it looked like a broomstick during that, and a plastic bottle, and Emma coming up and going down. It's so good to see parenting occur like that, because they are part of your life. You can't lock them in the cupboard while you do or put them outside like I can with the dogs while you do a session. It's not that easy. The next person we're going to talk to today, the next author we're going to talk to today, is Miriam Sakumdi, and I just want to read a extract from her chapter, which is a part where she moves to the now. Knowing my truth today has taken on a significant turn. I had to make a big decision to complete my doctorate and return to Uganda and fade away into teaching and academia, or drop out and pursue a life of liberating others as I was feeling strongly called to do. Completing the doctorate wasn't easy. I completed it because I wanted to be true to my word. I had started it, I needed to finish it. I summoned all in me and completed it, but I knew it stood for everything I now stood against. And I would like to welcome Miriam on that note to join us. Miriam Sakumdi is actually a woman who inspires me on a daily basis. Thank you so much for joining us, Miriam.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
An intuitive energy healer, empowerment coach, spiritual teacher, and also a parenting coach. Thank you so much, Miriam, for joining us. Just tell me about that moment in time when, as you shared in your chapter in the book, that you had to make that decision of, do I go back to Uganda and, get swept up in the academia, or do I stay here and actually pursue what I'm passionate about? What was that like for you?
It was so hard. It was so hard because, and thank you so much for having me. This is an amazing opportunity to share with you part of my life and my story. And thank you for the opportunity to be part of that book. But yeah, that moment was so hard because I was raised with family, right? Collective culture. So everybody's opinion mattered. Not just that you had to be people pleasing, but you had to be part of the group meant you belonged. If you didn't do what the group expected you to, you did not. So part of the expectation was I came here, brought my entire family, did complete my master's, and then moved on to the doctorate. And then in the middle of doing my doctorate, I realized, oh crap, I won't say the bad word. Okay, that is when my awakening journey started, and I was like, what am I even doing here? My eyes opened. I realized I was on a journey that others expected me to travel. I was on a journey that my people expected me to travel. I came home. I spoke to my husband. He looked at me like, are you serious? I was teaching at that time. And actually, I did make some changes in how I taught, and my students probably felt it because it ceased to be just teaching students, and it ceased to be teaching curriculum, and it became teaching students. So the students in front of me became something different. And I spoke to my mom, and she's like, there is absolutely no way you're letting this, stop in the middle. So like, okay, I have to remember, I have to finish this. So I went for it and I did it. And as I walked across the stage, I will never forget. I want to cry. I'll never forget. I felt that like the biggest fraud ever. As I walked across the stage and I got the robes, and I was like, wow. It means a lot for my people, but if I had started it in this vein where I am now, it would be different. And I'm trying to work my way through navigating what that is like for myself, for my kids, for the world.
Yeah, and I think that, it's so important that people realize they have a choice. Like, although that choice may be hard, especially culturally hard for you, it's a choice that you still can make.
Yes, it's kind of a difficult choice depending on where you are. It was easy for me to make because I was here. If I was there, it probably wouldn't have been very easy because there's so many people you have to like move out of the way for you to move out, to break free. There's so many things to consider and many people to kind of like, because the way the society is structured is such that you're expected to move through almost like a conveyor.
Yeah.
Of course, now things have probably changed, but a lot then you were expected to move through like a conveyor. So you went to school, you finished school successfully, you got married, you had children, and then you had your children go through the same thing, right? So that
Yeah.
was success.
Well, I think it could be same. The same could be same about the way that I was brought up. You know, you get married, you have the children, you go to school. In my society, in my immediate family, if you went to university, you were not the norm. If you went and got a trade or a really good job, that was the norm. So that's what we were taught to do, to go and, you know, find that structure, continue that, and then you get married. And I was in my early 30s and not married, and, you know, there was always the question, what's wrong with you? Don't want to get married. I don't particularly like men. Like, I didn't like women either, but, you know, it wasn't that way. It wasn't something that I'd even thought about. Like, I didn't even think I should be getting married because I'm now in my 30s. It was, it didn't come until later. It wasn't on my radar, but that was what was expected, that expectation that you would, in your mid to late 20s, you would get married, you would then have children. You know, this was the process that you followed. You had a good job, then you got married, then you became the mom, and then you left work. So I think that, you know, it's different, but the same sort of thing. There's expectations put on us, and we can change those expectations by making our own choice.
Yeah,
I think
society kind of conditions you from when you're little to be a certain way, and so to jump out of that bucket, you know, the crab bucket where everyone's trying to pull you down, it takes a lot, and it takes a certain kind of person. Like, you have to summon a certain ingredient within you to step out and say, you know, I'm going to be different. And it's hard if you are not supported. And I think, you know, God kind of prepares the ground. I never wanted to move. I'd never dreamt of moving. I was making a lot of money. I hear people celebrating millions. I was making millions already in Uganda because the money is less, but I was making millions, more millions than, you know, the average person was making. So it was, I didn't want to move. I never thought of moving. I knew I could go study and come back. But society kind of prepares you to fit that mold. And there's a way God kind of removes you and puts you in a ground where you're going to, when you break out, you can flourish. Like, I don't think anyone is ready to break out and they are not ready to flourish. So once your truth is out, once it comes out, it has ground to grow.
Yeah, that's true. It is. It does have that opportunity then to grow. I have been able to get the Amazon Live up, and I just want to go back to acknowledge that there was some comments, and Roz is with us over there. Thank you for joining us, Roz. And Adair is watching from over there as well. Roz has said it's an interesting platform, the Amazon, and kids are fun. Yes, that was for Kristen. So yes, Kristen, she was fun to be here. Sosha has said, amazing work. Healing the inner child is so important. We can only allow our children to be as intuitive as we allow ourselves to be. Isn't that the truth? And Adair has said, definitely one of the most important things we can do for ourselves is to connect to our intuition. What else have we got here? We got to invite the kids in. They are our greatest teachers. That is so true, isn't it? Great interview, Kristen. Loved meeting Emma too. Thank you very much, guys. It's great to have you over there. And then we've had, hello, Miriam. And Roz loves your mandala you have behind you. Excuse me. And Saoirse said there's so many expectations and she loves it. Mama was a millionaire.
I know those are chords I gotta break, because I look at people celebrating millions and it doesn't hit me the way it hits people because I was there. You know, I started by earning 75,000, which is like $25. That is what was my original salary, and I went from that to millions. So
yeah, Yeah. And to others on the outside, it looks like you've made it then, doesn't it? Like they
Oh,
think they see that as a perceived
yeah.
made it. Miriam, I wanted to ask you this in the book. Can you say that for us?
Oh, atanaita ita yatenda nyina okufumba. It is, you want me to say it again?
Yes, please.
Atanaita ita yatenda nyina okufumba. So it's kind of a proverb that means, when you don't travel, you think your mom's the best cook. So when you go somewhere and you find somebody who cooks better than your mom, you're like, Mom, your food sucks. So basically, that's what it means. So it's kind of like, in the context of the book, um, if you're not traveled, it's hard for your eyes to be opened. If you're looking at the same thing every day, if you're listening to the same people, if you're connected to the same group, but once you allow yourself to get out of that group, you give yourself an opportunity to taste other ways of knowing. And once that happens for you, then magic happens. Then you have a
Yeah.
man behind you.
That is beautiful. I love that. And it's obviously something from, that comes from your culture. So you choose to hold on to the parts that are the right parts to hold on to and let go of the parts that are wrong. So you talk about the way that you were brought up and the way that you brought up your children. There was a moment where you realized that the way that you were brought up wasn't the best way to bring up children. Can you talk about that a bit?
I think it unfolded, and it unfolded right from courses that I took. And, I'll talk about it in the other place. the solo book, it's there. It unfolded. It wasn't a one-time thing. It unfolded for me from courses where we were studying about things, discussing things, and I was going, again. So as I experienced and reflected on what they were saying, I have 4 children and a grandbaby on the way. So my 4 children are 31, 24, 18, and 12. So in between all those kids, their degrees, which is really crazy. But what it represents is also the journeys that I went through, each of my kids. My first one, I was very like my parents. On my second one, he was half with my parents, half with me. And then I left and I came here. So he kind of was at a time when I was evolving. And then my third, I was more aware, like more aware, and starting to implement those changes into the raising of my children. And then, the last one, everybody thinks I've spoiled her, but she's actually my awareness raising baby, the one where I am very aware, looking, paying attention to what is said, paying attention to interrupting patterns and things like that. And I did that with the third too. And with the others, but they were older, right?
Yeah.
They are older, but I was able to have those conversations with them about how I raised them and how I felt, that corporal way of raising children, the harsh, children are to be seen, not heard. And, that's really, really rough way. And I don't blame my mom. I've had conversations with her and it all makes sense why she did it the way she did. But
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that she did the best she knew with what she knew. It's just like, we all do that as a mother, and it's not anybody's fault. It's just the way that that's the way that it happened, because that's what it was. So Saoirse has said, yes, I don't want to be rich. I want to have all the resources I need to create the life of my dreams and carry out my mission in a peaceful power, grace, and ease. Yes, that's beautiful, Saoirse. Adara said, the feeling of being wealthy in every area of life is much more rewarding than being rich. Ros has said, it's interesting the way each child in the lineage of age brings the change in how we raise them. Yeah, that is very interesting, isn't it? And you did just touch on, you mentioned you are writing, you did write in Intuitive, Knowing Her Truth, and it's a great sneak peek into Miriam's world. But you are writing your own solo book. You can share that with us.
I'm writing my solo book, and Bridget is my, what's the word? I don't want to use horsewhip. She's I call you, I don't call you the book mama, I call you mother midwife. To me, you're mother midwife, like walking us through those labor pains and supporting us through the process and like telling us to breathe and, So I'm writing a book and, I'm here and I'm talking about the kids and their stages. And I'm like, yeah, I need to put that in the book because that's how I'm getting my inspiration. But yes, it's about parenting and parenthood, more parenthood than parenting, because I believe you can have all the tools that you need, which is the parenting, but it's about who you are when you use those tools, which is the parenthood. So parenthood is a process that sometimes begins, right from when you're planning the process of having children, and then through the process, who you become in the different stages as you grow, as you unfold, as you evolve. What does that look like?
Yeah.
And even as you implement those tools, who are you when you're implementing? Who are you as you discipline your kids? Not that I didn't use punish. Some people use the words interchangeably, but they are different. So who you are as you're doing that is a lot more the focus. And it's more, people becoming more aware of, parents becoming more aware of who exactly am I? What is the BS that I'm moving along with and I'm allowing to come into the way I parent my kids?
Yeah.
And so I do touch on tools, which, speaking of my evolution, I was asked to go for a parenting class. And I did that. I went for a parenting, it was a facilitation workshop for parenting. And I did learn the tools, but the tools didn't mean anything when the inside was not okay. So I believe the parent has to change on the inside in order to use those tools effectively. Yeah.
Yeah, it is something that we definitely need. Well, maybe not everyone, but I need help with. You've taught me a lot with dealing with teenagers, and I think that it's something that I'm so grateful for, but it's also something that I didn't know existed, like I didn't know that you could get assistance with parenting when I spent 10 years not liking motherhood, and I didn't even think about, taking a lesson in being a parent because it was ingrained in me that you just knew what to do. And my mother was such a good mother that I just expected that I would be the same. And it just did not happen for me. And it wasn't until I actually put this book together that I saw from other women that there was this opportunity to do, to get help with parenting. And it was, that was a big eye opener to me. And I think that that's something that, perhaps others out there are looking at this and going, well, maybe I don't know how to parent that well. I could reach out and get some help from Kristen or from you, whoever you resonate with is the right person for you. So checking out those avenues, and there's many people in the marketplace, I'm sure, that do this work. So, finding somebody that resonates with you and you connect with on a level that allows you to put trust in what they're sharing with you and the ideas that they share with you, because you may not take on everything that somebody says, and you take on the pieces that fit for your family, for your your beliefs and your systems that you want to put in place. And I think that it's a great way to move forward in parenting. Just going back when we were talking about how we were expected to do things, Adara shared that growing up in a small country town, you either got married or a job at the post office. and she didn't get the job.
She got married. Yep.
Lucky you didn't get the job at the post office. Maybe you wouldn't be here now. That's what I say. Kristen's messages for some reason are not working, but her WooTube channel is now up on the Amazon Live feed. So you can check out her WooTube channel that Emma has named. And Saoirse has said, it's, yes, such incredible work, even before we get pregnant, as our babes absorb our energy from conception. And yes, I'm going to be talking to Saoirse about that shortly. You can grab the book if you want to jump over onto Amazon Live. You can grab the book. Intuitive Knowing Her Truth. It is available in paperback and Kindle format, and we would love for you to share with us what you think about the book after you've read it. It is a great book and a great resource for people who want to, connect back to their intuition and look at all different aspects of your life, because this goes through many different aspects of life and looking at different features that you could possibly connect to connect deeper with your intuition. And Saoirse has said she is excited to read your solo book too. Thank you, Miriam. Love your work. It is going to be exciting. It's coming out in 2022, right?
Yeah.
We have to set that deadline. Take every opportunity to slide it in there.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Miriam. How can people get in touch with you?
Oh my goodness, I'm everywhere. Either Miriam Sakumdi. I'm everywhere, like Twitter, TikTok. I don't do TikToks, but I'm there. I'll be there. I'm there. I'm everywhere. Miriam Sakumdi or breakfreezone.com. www.breakfreezone.com.
Yeah,
or
breakfreezone.com.
Miriam Sakumdi, just like I'm everywhere, like Facebook, Instagram, all the places, LinkedIn, all the places.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Teens are my favorite. I went to school actually as a secondary school teacher. So I hung out with lots of teens, and I'm glad I did. So I love them.
Yeah. Oh, that is so cool. Thank you so much, Miriam. It's been a pleasure talking to you again today. And yes, I'll speak to you next week.
Thank you. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Miriam. Saoirse is going to join us in a moment. I just want to open up my book to hers. I do have a part highlighted that I wanted to bring in. Saoirse's chapter was called Embracing Radical Vulnerability to Birth, Live and Die Fearlessly. I wanted to read, and I haven't actually underlined it. I've underlined the others. I did read this. Here it is. She has different sections in her chapter, and this one is under the title of Dropping the Masks. Peeling back this mask, while painful, was a huge revelation for me. For the first time in my life, I could choose to honor my body, say no to things that did not serve me, and be authentically me. I felt so free. And with that, I would like to welcome Saoirse to join us. And thank you, Saoirse, for being with us today. You are a wild and free woman, and you did a beautiful home birth with your second child. I'm not sure with your first, but it was a beautiful home birth, and you shared some really intimate photos with us, and it was so delightful to witness that and to see that a woman enjoying birth so much. And it's not an experience that was part of my experience and something that I was so in awe of. And I'm so grateful that you shared that to show how beautiful birthing can be. And, I'm grateful that you do the work that you do in the world with, helping women to experience it right from the time that they become pregnant, or even, when they're thinking about becoming pregnant, right through to having their babes. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Did you hear me read that piece? I don't know if you can hear me read that piece.
I did. Yes, I did hear you.
So can you share with me, that must have been removing that mask and having that ability to be free for that. It's almost like the first time. It wouldn't have been, but it's almost like the first time. Can you tell me what that felt like?
Well, that was when I was actually pregnant with my little girl, Fia. And well, I didn't even know I was pregnant. And I just I'd had a miscarriage, an early miscarriage. And I really felt this blame and shame around the miscarriage because I'd been partying and I didn't know that I was pregnant when I lost the baby. So it was going on a healing journey about that. And also, you know, losing my grandmother in that same cycle where I was able to ask her intentionally to help me call in this baby that I wanted so desperately now that I knew. You know, I never knew what I had until I really lost it. I never knew what I wanted until I lost it. So, yeah, it was a healing journey that I began when my grandmother died and I lost a baby, to really call in who I wanted to be, to let go of all of the attachments and addictions that were no longer serving me. I was a big kind of party animal, and you know, I liked to have a lot of fun, and I wasn't prioritizing more important, wholesome things in my life. So allowing myself to be seen in that shame and blame that I was experiencing allowed me to let go of the mask of who I was before, so that I could really invite in who I was becoming and who I was born to be as a matriarch, really, of my family.
And that's a beautiful thing. You know, I think just speaking with Miriam about her cultural heritage, I think that partying and that lifestyle is very apparent in your cultural heritage, which is from the Irish background. And, you know, that is, from my experience, every Irish person I know, that's something that is part of your culture, is, you know, to that drinking and that party nature is just part of what you do, and it's part of how you grow up, and part of how it's almost like it's not an expectation, it's just what happens.
No, it is an expectation. You can't say I'm not having a drink and people like shame you and abuse you for it.
Oh.
I know it's not like, but it is very much ingrained in our culture and in our way of life, and you know, we're very much viewed that way around the world. So when we don't have that to kind of hide behind and, you know, embody, then who are we without our attachments? And that's what I got to really lean into and allow myself to be authentically me, without hiding behind the party animal Saoirse and the fun Saoirse and the one who's always the last one standing Saoirse, you know. And it's still a journey, like becoming mother and, you know, really letting go of the attachments and addictions to many things, like, you know, like my addiction to not feeling good enough, my addiction to scrolling on my phone, my addiction to eating unhealthy food that doesn't nourish my soul. Like, all of these things are addictions that we don't realize we are attached to, and we get to really let go of them to come home to the truth of who we are, to return back to our true nature, and to really show up fully for our children in a way that isn't taking our presence, isn't taking our life force, isn't taking our, you know, ability to be in the moment and to really live in an authentic and healthy and vital and vibrant way.
Yeah, and I really hope that mums hear this message, because, you know, I missed out on 10 years of being present because I was so consumed with the fact that I was brought into this, you know, I wanted to have children, was what I thought. And when I had them, I was like, what the fuck have I done? Oh, excuse me. sorry about that.
Person's all right with me.
And I was, you know, in this whole cycle of being obsessed with not wanting, I loved my children. That's, you know, that was, I loved them with all of my heart, but it was like this role of motherhood. I was so bashing my head up against a brick wall with what had I done. I was consumed with that instead of being present with what I could have enjoyed all those years. And, you know, I feel like I've missed that opportunity. I know now I've built bridges with my children, and it's 5 years ago, or almost 6 years ago now, that I started doing that, and things are so much better. But it's still, you know, I want mums to hear this message, because I'm not the only one who feels that way, and there's so many different ways to approach it to be able to bring joy and presence to it. That, you know, I hope that mums hear your message and reach out to you if they're feeling like I was, because it would have been great for me to have somebody like you in those early days, in those early years, to be able to, you know, be able to bounce those ideas off and hear how I could do it differently, and to accept the fact that I was there and there was no changing it. You know, I went and had another one thinking that would fix it, and it made it worse.
Yeah, I know. And you know, it's a tough gig. Motherhood is tough, and we can only meet our children as far as we're willing to go, you know. And that's what I really learned recently, is that the inner child in me is the one that gets triggered by my kiddies, you know. And it's like, how can I love on my inner child more? How can I speak to my children like I'm speaking to the little girl in me that needs to be met with this boundless compassion and with this unconditional love that I still crave as the little girl inside me. And as all the other authors have said in this chat, it's about healing the wounds within, you know, so that we can really see through a different lens and a different perspective, and really let go of the beat up that we put on ourselves, let go of the guilt, let go of the shame, let go of the blame, and actually open ourselves up to receive the fucking magic, excuse my language, of life, of our kids, the preciousness of them. You know, they are such incredible little souls who chose us as their parents for the lessons and blessings that we can give them. And when we can allow ourselves to be those guides for them and allow them to teach us and show us, because they're just mirrors. They're mirrors showing us our shit that we get to then look at with compassion and deal with, so that we can also allow them to be the little wizards and wisdom keepers that they are, you know, because they're intuitive. They haven't been touched by conditioning and programming, and the trauma that lives in their DNA hasn't like materialized yet, you know. So they are just so intuitive and pure and innocent and free, and they get to show us if we allow them to be in their brilliance and stop rushing them and stop pushing them into doing things our way, you know, because control is an absence of connection. And as much as we can, I know it's hard, we've got things to do, we've got places to be, you know, and it's hard to let go of that need to make them conform and fit into our idea of what the day should be. But as much as we can, to allow them to be in their freedom and allow ourselves to be in that freedom too. And that's the world that I want to create right now for myself and my children, is to continue to free myself from the limiting beliefs, from the programmings and patterns that hold me back from really being present with what is in this moment, and not living in the past anymore or worrying about the future, being in the now, meeting them where they're at, and allowing ourselves to really enjoy this life and receive it, be open to receiving everything that is coming through, because sometimes we can be just so striving forward and focused on a goal that we forget to actually enjoy life now.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you say that. It's I just want to go and bring up some of the comments that have come through. Roz has said motherhood is interesting and doesn't come with an instruction book. That is so true, isn't it? Kristen has said it's very true. Inner child triggers are our mum triggers, and our children are our mirrors for sure. And Roz has said, oh, the past life stuff. Adair is saying she is loving this message, Saoirse, and our comments that are not appropriate language are being bleeped out in auto captions on Facebook. So we must be careful. Saoirse, can you tell me, what work are you doing in the world now?
Well, as you said, I birthed my son Bodhi like 6 months ago. So I have been very deep in a rebirth of my own, you know, figuring out who I am, what I'm here to serve. As Miriam touched on, we're constantly evolving and growing and getting to know ourselves and who we are in each moment. So I have been receiving these really strong intuitive hits to create a sanctuary for women in this time. As I am a woman of Celtic heritage, we have incredible ancient mythology and, you know, Irish Celtic mystery in our history. And we have these sovereign goddesses who would, back in the day, would marry the king in a ceremonial marriage, and they would allow the king to rule the tribes, you know, with their full support. In quiet and in peace, they would just sit back and allow the king, when he was being fair and just and giving back to the people. And then the sovereign goddess was the representation of nature and land, and the king is the representation of the people and the culture. And, you know, if the king began to rule unfairly or corruptly or unjustly, then the sovereign goddess would rise, and he would suffer her wrath, and crops would fail and birth rates would drop, and, you know, she'd take the power back. And that's what I'm feeling more than ever before, is this call and roar of the sovereign goddess within me to rise now in these times, and to really empower all mamas who are mission driven, who want to rise in that peaceful power to help manifest our wildest desires and set this world on fire with our love. So I am going to be releasing a podcast soon to really interview these women who make it and show that it is possible for us to have it all, you know, because so much is expected of us, and there is a lot of pressure on us to work and look after the home and look after the kids and follow our hearts and our missions. And it's a lot to hold, and then to heal ourselves and to do the work and to give back. And, you know, I want to be the model for what's possible for women. I want to show women that it is possible. We might not be able to do it all, but we can have it all when we choose wisely what we do and how we do it and the way we do it in our feminine energy and essence, rather than trying to push forward in this masculine world. So yeah, it's time for the divine feminine to rise, and I am going to work alongside all of my sisters to help us radically awaken in this time of transformation on the planet Earth.
Absolutely love it. You gave me chills when you were talking about your heritage and connecting back to that. And I also have Irish blood running through me, and Roz says she has a Celtic ancestry too. And your cousin, I believe, Grace, is watching with us over on Amazon Live. She said, love this, and I love you, Saoirse. The world needs more women like you, Cuzzo.
Oh, deadly! Hello. Just to see you, babe.
Jen says she's getting goosebumps and loves your words too, Saoirse. It is really powerful. What you're stepping into now is really powerful, and I'm so pleased that you are the woman leading this, because you're so passionate, and it's, you know, you could tell that when you were talking. You just lit up when you were talking about what you're stepping into next, and I love that about you, how passionate you are and how driven you are to do this. So how can people get in touch with you or follow you to be able to know when the podcast is coming out?
Well, yeah, just the Facebook and Instagram right now is where you'll find me. Saoirse Connolly is my name. I'm just in the process of, I've created a Telegram channel as well for people who want to get off social media and the distractions and reactions that we feel when we get onto these platforms. So yeah, that's where you'll find me for now, and join me on this journey as I create this podcast and, you know, a community for women. It's going to be called All Boobs Blazing, because we're rising in peaceful power, and we are going to really kind of open ourselves up to receiving in this mother summer season of our lives.
All boots blazing.
All boobs blazing. Yeah, that's the name. It wants to be called that. It wants to be called that. I can't stop it. It's its own entity, you know, and I just have to get out of my own way and allow it to be birthed into the world, and press play and see what happens.
Yeah, I love it. That sounds amazing. Kristen also has Irish heritage, which is amazing. There's so many of us here that are there. So, Kristen, is there anything else that you would like to, sorry, I just called you Kristen. Saoirse, is there anything else you would like to share that you haven't had the opportunity to today?
No, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have, contributed to Intuitive Knowing Her Truth and all the lessons that came along with it, and who I've become in the process of sharing that story, and really allowing myself to be seen, because as you know, it was a process for me, and even stepping into this next level of expansion has been a process too, so many highs and lows and ebbs and flows, and getting momentum and then retreating and hiding and trying to find a space as a mother to create, and to follow those intuitive hits, and to know when is the time. So it's just a message to all mamas to really go easy on yourself, to know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be in this moment, that there's no rush. We get to be it all and do it all and have it all in our own way, in our own flow, and we will know when it's time to really rise and when it's time to just be present with our lives.
Yeah, I really agree with you. I couldn't agree more. And I'm really proud of your story and the journey that you've taken through. From the time I met you to the time now, you are doing wonderful work in the world, and your children are blessed to have you as a mother, and your partner is amazing too. And I love seeing you progress as a family. It's a beautiful thing to watch evolve, and I'm so pleased to be able to witness some of that from afar. Grab a copy of your Intuitive Knowing Her Truth. Jump on over to Amazon and grab your copy. You will be able to read Saoirse's story in here and connect with her through social media, and get into be able to follow, download, and listen to All Boobs Blazing, which I can't wait for it to come out. I'm so excited about that. Thank you.
We'll have to have a chat. Will you be one of my first guests?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to. That would be such an honor. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me, Saoirse. It's been a pleasure seeing you again, and I will catch up with you soon.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye-bye. So please do grab a copy of Intuitive. That's three more incredible authors that we have had with us today. It is such a pleasure to be able to catch up with these authors that I haven't spoken to in a little while, and hear where they're up to. And, their work in the world is so potent. And I think that it's an opportunity for you to learn new skills, as well as just learn from their stories that they've shared in this book. There are lessons in every chapter that the women share from their own lives, from their own journeys and their own learnings. And I do implore you to grab a copy and be able to, learn from that and grow in your own way. It's evident to me by doing these multi-author books that we are all one, because you always find something in every story that you resonate with. And it's a pleasure to be able to bring these books to the world. And, multi-author books is something that I never had heard of until I contributed to one. And sometimes I think that the intention behind them is, often misunderstood. And the intention behind these books is to allow others to see what's possible in their life. You could change your own reality by reading one of these stories. And, I implore you to grab a copy and see if that happens for you. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back again next week. Actually, we'll be back. Next week is Thursday, and the week after will be Monday and Thursday, because we have some people from the UK joining us, and that will be lovely to be on a different time zone, different time slot. So keep watching us on Amazon Live. It's been great to be with you again today, and we will see you again next week. Thank you so much, Adair.